Hi guys, as usual it's me, just a voiceover, and you're watching Review Machines. Today we've got an amazing machine. It's an ultimate all-terrain vehicle, and it has one of the most interesting features. It's the cheapest wheeled ATV we have ever met in our practice. As usually, we will speak about the prices at the end of the video. Now I just can say that it costs approximately as 2 mobile phones. Today we are going to put the machine in the severest tests, so let's go to find them. And you know, it's early spring, but it's very little dirt outside. So we are moving on to the big swamp. I think there is enough dirt in any season there. And now it seems like the first little obstacle on our way. But firstly, let's look at some specs. This ATV is massively produced nowadays, and it's very popular, cause it's very effective for off-roading and extremely cheap. The manufacturer states that they produce the largest quantity of units among the machines of this class. So again, we have here 3 main characteristics. Firstly, it's the cheapest, then it has the simplest construction, and finally great efficiency. Well, as to the efficiency, we'll check it later. But why are these machines so cheap? First of all, they are made of old, used, renewed spare parts, often even taken from junkyards. Then the construction is really the simplest. There are only essential parts in the construction, absolutely nothing more. You'll have a look at them a bit later, and now it's time to move on. Firstly, I decided to check this paddle myself, riding this rear drive bike. As you can see, I managed to get stuck immediately. Also, there was quite a loose ground underwater, so it's clear, it's hard task to move here on a rear drive vehicle. But let's try our ATV here. Well, it turned out to be quite boring obstacle for the machine. No sweet at all. Articulated frame, all-wheel drive, huge wheels and lightweight. All this stuff makes the machine be a real ultimate ATV. In fact, the weight is only 500 kilos, and taking into account the huge low-pressure wheels, it's almost impossible to get stuck on this machine. Before we continue our trip, let's look slightly in details how it is built. One of the main features of off-roading capability of the ATV is the wheels. There are old huge tires from a big truck. Most part of their rubber was cut off. As a result, we have big low-pressure wheels with new aggressive tire tread and all these features for minimal price. Besides, they are very light. The frame of the ATV is articulated. There are 2 parts, which are joined by a steering knuckle from a 4x4 vehicle. In this way, the ATV can easily overcome even the roughest terrain. The engine is a cheap and quite reliable Chinese Lifan 15 HP. There is a gearbox from an old car, 4 inches and the simplest belt clutch. Driving gear is simply transferred here by a roller stretcher. The axles are also from an old car. By the way, look at this huge ground clearance. Meantime, we met on our way some ditch covered with thick bushes. To make it interesting, I decided to run over it, not crossing, but moving along the ditch. Despite the terrain is very rough, the machine is moving forward slow and sure, thanks to the articulated frame and big wheels. As to the power, frankly speaking, I thought 15 HP is rather weak for quite a big machine. But to my surprise, it turned out to be enough. Of course, it doesn't allow you to move very fast, but anyway, it's able to overcome any obstacle, slow and sure. There are 4 ranges in the gearbox. First one is very slow, for the most complicated conditions. The second and third gear are suitable for the most cases. And fourth gear is for a good road. But anyway, its maximum speed is only about 30 km/h. Now let's try to cross this deep ditch. Undoubtedly, it's a bright example how articulated frame works. Also, it's interesting how the clutch works. You just release the pedal, and the roller stretches the belt, transferring drive gear through the axles and wheels. But it's worth saying that it's recommended to take with you few spare belts, they may be useful. The ATV turns by the folding of the frame. The steering is mechanical, no power steering at all. But it's not very tough to handle the machine. On the other hand, there is a drawback. You always need to hold the steering wheel tightly, cause it may break free on a hammock. Meantime, we are approaching the main goal of our trip, the big swamp. But in fact, the big swamp turned out into a big lake in spring season. Well, can we cross it? By the way, I want to say huge thanks to our friends from Fintrail company. They provide me with an awesome suit for off-roading. Now I really enjoy the shooting process being in such a suit. The matter is, it's absolutely waterproof, and at the same time, you don't sweat in it. It's perfect for any kind of off-roading adventures. Thank you very much, Fintrail. Well, it's high time to move into the lake, but firstly I tried how it goes on a swampy ground nearby. You see, again, no matter what kind of obstacle we have, it's boring to overcome it with this ATV. No sweat at all. It goes through the swamp as if it went on a hard road, slow and sure. There are two big wheels and too little weight, and as a result it's almost impossible to get it stuck. But I should say, it's so exciting machine and cheap, but there is some stuff that must be added here. For example, an anti-roll cage must be installed here. Then some kind of a roof to protect from rain. We even don't have any headlights here. And now it's high time for a big water. Guys, I think I haven't mentioned it, that we deal with a real amphibious ATV. And again, it's able to float due to the huge wheels and the little weight. I should say it can float perfectly, but of course it moves on water quite slow. It moves only by rotating of the wheels, so maximum speed on water is only about 3 km/h. Then there is another problem. It's rather tough thing to maneuver on water. For all that, we managed to reach the opposite bank, and to my mind it's a real success, guys. As to the reliability, well, the construction is very simple and durable. In fact, there are very little parts that can be broken, so the reliability is decent. And it's a great feature taking into account the price. And it's high time to speak about the price. Well, it costs only $2,000. Meantime, we reach our bank and leave the water. Then we were going to check the maximum speed, to try it on hills and do other tests, but unfortunately we've got under the real storm. Wind and rain was awful. And it's so pity that our ATV doesn't have any roof, so we had to take cover right under the vehicle. To top it all, we suddenly found out that we had run out of petrol, and we had no idea how we were going to get home. But this is another story, and now I think we should sum up our review. Well, it's a cheap and great ATV. I don't know what more to say. Thanks for watching, guys. Please consider subscribing the channel if you liked this video. It will be many more interesting materials here. Goodbye.